Hey guys. Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys. I hope you are doing well, spectacular today. For today's video, I'm going to try to do a soft-spoken ASMR video. And I've never done this, I think, in my channel. It's usually just whispering and lo-fi, but I've never done a soft-spoken video with my microphone, with my Blue Yeti microphone. So we're gonna switch from whisper to soft-spoken unintentional. I'm just gonna go with the flow of things, but today we are going to be doing Am I the A-hole Reddit thread readings. So those are my favorites to do because I also love watching them, and yeah, I love watching them. So I have my MacBook in front of me and I'm just going to be pulling some story threads from the Reddit page of Am I the A-hole? And we're gonna read it. So the first one is, am I the a-hole for treating my daughters differently than my son when it comes to food? I have two daughters, 18 and 17, and a son who is 15. We are not a wealthy family by any means. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I think it would be fair to say that we are basically working class. I have very little room to splurge, and I'm still paying off a mortgage and some debts, and cured after a death in a family, as such things are very tight. My son is currently going through a stage where he basically eats everything. He eats such large quantities that if I'm not careful, meals I've cooked that are supposed to last a week are only lasting a day or two. I can't afford to keep replenishing all the food he eats, while also feeding my daughters. So I decided to put a restriction on him. He can eat what he's served, and he can have a certain amount of snacks. Anything else I can't give him. He's free to find extra food elsewhere, but I just can't afford it. Now my son is angry about this because he's the only one I've put on restriction, and his sisters are still free to eat as they please. He thinks I'm playing favorites, but it's not that. My daughters aren't eating so much to the point where this is a problem, so it doesn't make sense for me to restrict them too. Am I the asshole here? I've told some friends, and while they tend to agree with me, I do feel guilty. I just don't think there's another way. I feel like there's definitely a different approach to this. I would not purposefully starve my children if I were to have one in the future. I know it's hard for some, but how old is this dude? He's 15. He's going through puberty. He's going to eat a lot, and his body's going to need a lot of energy for that. But boys just tend to eat more than girls. They just have bigger appetites. So, honestly, I don't know what to say, because I do think in some discrepancy, in some little, I do think a part of me is saying yes, but also a part of me is like, whoa, let's see what others are saying. Oh, this is one I agree with someone. So they quoted from the person who posted this. They quoted what they said. Anything else I can't give him. He's free to find extra food elsewhere, but I just can't afford it. And their comment was, you need to look into food banks or churches or something. Any place that can help for food. Your 15-year-old is going through a growth spurt. and needs nutrients. It is not his responsibility to search food for to search elsewhere for food. Yeah, 100%. I believe it's your duty to be able to provide for your children because you decided to have children. You chose to have children. So, if there's a will, there's a way. Because kids these age, that's not grammatically correct. Let me rephrase it. Children at this stage of development, they're very prone to getting like just ticked off right away because their hormonal period is just imbalanced. Their puberty, they're like this. Like, let's say there's a graph of their hormones. Oh, first of all, girls, they have a cycle of hormonal shifts because of their period. Whereas guys, they are able to regulate their hormones 24/7. Or I think it's something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But during puberty, kids need to be fed, or else they're not going to grow properly. They're either going to be like deficient in something, which in this case can lead to other stuff in the future. So yeah, let's see what other people are saying. A lot of people are giving like different resources, which is really nice, and rather just judging the person. So I think that's good. But also I do understand what people are saying. Like this one person said, you could also sit your family down and explain how tight things are, because I feel like at that age, the two daughters are 18 and 17 and then the son is 15. I feel like they're intellectual enough to understand what's happening, so they wouldn't have any ill thoughts about it. Because if you're keeping them in the dark, there could be a chance that they could start hating you. So and continuous to what I was saying, this person said you can ask them to pitch in, especially the 18-year-old, and that sucks. I'm not saying it doesn't, I'm just saying it's reality in 2026. I'm also surprised you're fine to have him eat as many snacks as he wants, because on my grocery bill, snacks are what really shoots the cost through my roof. Everything is expensive, but those chips / snacks, cakes / frozen items make my eyes bug out of my head. Yeah, I feel like I can kind of relate to that when it comes to like budgeting food, because as a uni student, I wouldn't say money is tight, but there's certain times where I'm like, I wouldn't really put my money into my groceries as much, which I should, but I find ways into that actually. So what I do is I meal prep. But what I do is I make sure that I try to get as much nutrients as I get. So I cut down a lot of snacks, because number one, they don't really feed you as much like fullness as what actual meals do. And yeah, they're really expensive. Whereas like if you just make your own food, make your own like little snacks, then it's much more cheaper. Yeah, a lot of people are either saying they are the asshole. They're saying like, oh, you can also like, if at schools there's like programs that children honestly valid. My landlord just sneezed. Sorry if you heard that. That's so funny. Whoa. Okay. This one. Am I the asshole for removing my roommate's access to the thermostat after he kept turning my place into a sauna? Keyword, my place. I, 26 years old, live with my roommate, 27 years old. We split the rent and have been for a while. He's completely nuts about being cozy, which to him means cranking the thermostat up to 78 or 80. I'm guessing that's in metric system. I don't know. Is that in Celsius or Fahrenheit? But that seems high. I'm not sure. Oh, if it's in Fahrenheit, then I'm guessing that's like 30 Celsius. I'm not sure, guys. But anyways, and leaving it running all day. I work from home and it's like walking into a sauna. The meetings are grueling enough without feeling like I'm going to spontaneously combust. I asked him to please keep the temperature reasonable a bunch of times. He'd say okay, but as soon as I went to bed or left the room, he'd flip it back to Arctic to tropical climate. Finally, I told him if he wants to live in a constant heat wave, he can take out his wallet and write extra checks. But he just said, I'm being controlling and that temperature just isn't that big of a deal. Actually, temperature is such a big deal. Be for real, brown nail. Be for real. So I decided to take matters into my own hands. I changed the app password on the thermostat and set it to keep the house at a reasonable 72 degrees during the day and 68 at night. He finds out and changes the password and proceeds to call me a total psycho. Acting like you're the owner of the place, he says it's getting pretty ridiculous. Now he's been telling all our friends that I'm being financially abusive because I won't let him turn up the heat to broil with my money, and our friends are really split on it. Some just laughed along with us like it's a hilarious joke, while others are actually starting to think he's lost his mind. I think this roommate needs to move out, because honestly, if you're really adamant about the heat at your place, just go find a new place. If it's really a big deal for you. I don't think they're the asshole. This is one a person says, not the asshole. I don't know why people in the comments are already weird about this. This is an abnormal temperature. Keeping things to standard room temp seems more than fair, and he can bundle up or buy a small heater if needed that badly. Would probably save money on bills too. Turning heat up like that would be bad for my own personal health issues, honestly. But on that note, it sounds like he might be low iron or something. He should get a checkup to see why he's feeling cold enough to make his home that warm. My personal experience, I live on a basement suite that me and my roommate are renting. And it gets pretty cold because it's a basement, obviously. But there's a set temperature that we have that we can change to in our rooms and our living area spaces. But there's a max to it because obviously throughout the day the temperature changes, and if I get really cold during the winter months, then I will obviously layer up and just put more blankets on. But there's no way I would heat it up all the way to the point where I'm gonna boil to death. But yeah, I don't think they're the asshole. That's crazy though. I think this person is just a big baby. I'm just kidding. Not the person who posted it, but rather the roommate who kept cranking up the heat. I just think they were the asshole. Okay. guys, I might go to bed soon. Well, I have to because I have to go to the gym early tomorrow with my friend. Oh. Ew. Ew, 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 ew. Ew. This might be the last one I'm gonna read because I'm really tired. I don't know if you can see it in my eyes, but yeah, you can. Also, my mascara is like runny now. So, oh my god, guys, why am I reading roommate in my asshole threads? Oh, I love my roommate, so I'm like, I can't really complain about mine, but dude, this is gross. I don't even want to read it, but let's do it. Am I the asshole for refusing to keep cleaning up after my roommates and calling them out for leaving poop in the toilet? That itself already is like, oh my gosh. Anyways, I rent a room for a couple in their 30s and have lived with them for about a year. When I moved in, I told them I like a clean and tidy space and that I was happy to take on more of the cleaning because it matters to me. I specifically said they didn't have to change their habits for me. At first, things felt normal, but over the last few months, they've basically stopped contributing to the shared spaces entirely. That's because you've let them, and that's because you normalize their behavior. Just because you live with them and rent with them does not mean that you should do everything. They're 30 years old, dude. Come on now. Okay. They don't vacuum or mop except their bedroom. They leave dishes out instead of putting them away, and I'm the only one washing communal items like dishcloths and towels. Coming home to a dirty kitchen every day is mentally affecting me. They don't wipe benches after cooking. Ew. The bathroom situation is what pushed me over the edge. Wait. Okay. They regularly leave visible streaks in the toilet after using it, and I've come home to find poop floating in the toilet more than once. We got along fine otherwise, and I do like them, but I'm starting to feel like I accidentally volunteered to be a live-in cleaner. Yeah, you did. You totally did. I never agreed to take responsibility for basic adult hygiene. One of them can also get pretty nasty or defensive during disagreements, which is part of why I've avoided saying anything. I think you should just leave the hell out of that place. I'm at the point where I want to stop cleaning anything that isn't directly mine and tell them I won't keep living like this. Part of me worries that I'm being unreasonable and that we all have different standards, but another part of me thinks they're taking advantage. Am I the asshole if I stop cleaning shared areas and confront them about the toilet situation? No, you are not the asshole. I think that there's just some people who think they're so narcissistic and have behaviors like this that need to be put into check, because how do you act like that and live with people, with strangers, mind you, who see this behavior and you think it's normal? That's disgusting. Anyways, what this person said is what I said. Not the asshole, but the solution here is to find another room to rent elsewhere. You should definitely discuss the toilet situation. That's ridiculous, but going on strike on other stuff is likely to bother you a lot more than it will them. That's true. I feel like because you're putting a restriction on what you're going to do, it's going to bother you a lot, but also they're probably not even going to think about it, because if they haven't done it in months, then they're not going to care. Because they haven't done anything. They haven't changed. So who's to say they will? Did I clock that? Yes, I did. Okay, I hope I'm not, like, yelling. Because I feel like, Anyways. Yeah. Yeah, guys, what really gets me is these people are 30 years old. Guys, how? Dude, I'm freaking in my 20s, and I hate being dirty. I literally cannot do that. I cannot. But also you did tell them that you would do the cleaning, most of them, and you don't need them to change their habits, so you're kind of validating their feelings about it, so that's kind of your fault at the same time. But nonetheless, move out. That's my say. You're just gonna stress yourself out more. Okay. I kind of had a similar experience about this when at my old place that I lived at, because the roommate that I had there, I just met her from Facebook Marketplace, but she went to the same university as me, so obviously. Also, is my camera? No, it's not blurry. It's just me. Anyways, no story time about that. So, we met Facebook Marketplace. I did not know her at all, but we got along. And mind you, this place was nice, but it was also old. So, and I have a fear of spiders, and this place had so much spiders that my cortisol level was skyrocketed every time I would see it, because my stress hormone would just skyrocket. I was literally so paranoid. You guys don't know how much I hate spiders. But anyways, yeah. So we got along pretty well. I didn't stay long in that place because I needed to get the fuck out. Number 1, spiders. Number 2, shit Wi-Fi. Number 3, shit roommate. Because number 1, I know she had health issues and stuff like that, but number 1, she would leave dishes in the sink for days. And mind you, I don't think she ever threw the garbage when I was with her in that place. So it was me all the time. And mind you, our garbage was not tiny, so I got tired of that. And then, funny enough, she broke one of my glass, but me being not confrontational, I didn't ask her about it because she was always gone. But she broke one of my glass cups, and I only texted her about it after, I was like, okay, where the fuck is it? She broke it, and she was like, oh, I thought it was our landlord's. Mind you, this cup was given by my grandma's here, and it was broken. And she said, oh, I'll pay it back. She never did. And I was like, you know what, I don't care, I'm not gonna see her again. Even if we go to the same school or not in the same faculty. She's a business student, I'm a science student, we're not gonna see each other again. I see her from time to time. Yeah, I just wave and say bye. But yeah, guys, if you move with people, please get to know them first. Also, this light is I don't know what's happening to it, but please get to know your roommates before moving in with them. Please, for the love of God, please. Yeah, but anyways, that is it for today's video, guys. I was a little heated there.